5 or so. So it's in the order of a meter already. So that's for sure.
But overall, you folks are pleased with your predictions on the timing and the response and everything?
Yes.
Let me tell you, just to get this is pretty hard. It's actually it's really hard to get these estimates and then see it actually happening in a certain time frame like that. I think we've come a long way.
Do you think we'll see any more dramatic images? I mean, we've been hearing about the water coming in and receding, but will that likely be the worst of it then?
No, I think we can expect to see more. I mean, the Samoa tsunami, for example, we didn't know about some of those waves in Hawaii until days later when somebody, amateur photographer, took some photographs and videos. So there could be more stuff out there that we'll see in the hours and days to come.
In terms of any possible cancellation, not for a while then, huh?
No, I wouldn't expect so. Not as long as there's an active tsunami in the water. We're not going to cancel.
Did you folks feel that you're going to be able to get some kind of indication in the next hour or two?
Yes, over the next few hours. As long as we see waves, we're not going to cancel. But if it starts to die off and we start to see smaller waves, then we'll use that to justify cancellation for Hawaii at some point. I don't know when that is yet.
And would that then be communicated to civil defense and some of the roads could be reopened and things like that?
Absolutely.
Was it bigger than the first wave?
I think it was about the same size.
Okay, and so you're watching that to see if the third wave would start to...
Right, yeah. And historically, these waves can, like I said, the third wave could be much larger. This is what happened in the 1960 tsunami, for example. But I think the third wave was much larger than the first wave.
Okay. And then after the third wave, the fourth wave, the fifth wave, will they start to diminish in size?
All right, that is Nathan Becker and Victor Sardina coming out here. This is our first official word from the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center. They're talking about watching some of the oscillating action in Hilo, Kahului Harbor as well, both about a meter difference in the water level. They're pretty pleased with their prediction in terms of the timing of it and in terms of just how much lack of damage that there will be. But of course, this is still a very potentially dangerous situation, and they will be continuing to monitor the situation for the next several hours. That is the latest from Eva Beach. Back to you folks in the studio.
Also, we have a caller from Hawaii Kai saying that the bay has started to fill in over there. But let's get back to this picture.
That's right, Bill. We've been monitoring live all morning long, and in fact, throughout the night, Hilo Bay, we had some oscillating action that was really kind of violent a second ago, Guy. It really is changing minute by minute.
Yeah, you're right about that, Tanya. We were watching this situation just 30, 40 seconds ago, and the water was really rushing out, and it seems to be these surges are getting more powerful, they're lasting longer, so it's just the start of, this tsunami event, and you can see the water receding now, and the rock starting to crop up again. Look at this. Look at this. Just in the last 10 seconds, this rock is now on an outcropping. Give it a few more minutes, and then we'll see the whitewash start to push back in. Very turbulent. It's going to look more like a whitewater rapid a little while. And look at this. Now the bridge, high and dry. Same for this little beach over here, high and dry. So definitely, this is a good vantage point from which to see all that's happening. Now, this is likely the same thing that's going to see, we'll see for the rest of the island chain slowly and slowly. In fact, Kaiser was pointing out that he's seeing a little more wave action and a water movement here on Oahu as well, taking notice with these traffic cams. Kaiser, what's happening?
Yeah, and actually the guys at the Traffic Management Center just turned our Alawai camera around. Notice the Alawai Canal almost starting to overflow and go over parts onto the golf course side. So we're definitely seeing what Guy was talking about, the water kind of surging in here on Oahu. You can see them moving around. Now let's take a look out towards the Hawaii Kai area, and you can see what we were talking about. They have DOT crews right at the boat dock right there, monitoring the water conditions. And as you can see, the bay is really starting to fill up. And for people in the Waikiki area, the beach wall right by the Duke Kahanamoku statue, you can see the waves were actually crashing over there. A real quick check of our traffic or non-existent traffic. Traffic is still being rerouted, not allowed to come into Kalakaua and stuff. And Grace, what's going on with you?
Well, Kaiser, we are right in the middle of it. We are at the Emergency Operations Center in the Fosse Municipal Building. I'm here with City Manager Kirk Caldwell, and you are hearing that as far as Hilo is concerned with this water going out, this is the fourth time.
Right, it's the fourth time the water is sucked in and out, and this is a typical tsunami kind of action here. The 1960 tidal wave that hit Hilo and killed 30-some-odd people, it was the third wave that was the biggest wave, about 30 feet, that did the most damage, and the entire bay sucked out there. So I don't think we're through this yet, and I think people have to be vigilant. They shouldn't get easy going now and say we can go down to the shore. This is a repeat action, and until we know it's finished, people need to stay back. They need to respect Mother Nature here, and we're watching it. It's pretty awesome.
About 20 or 30 minutes ago, we first started seeing the effects on Hilo. For Oahu, really should be seeing effects any second now.
Right. We should. It takes about 15 minutes for a wave to travel from the Big Island to Oahu. And I think we're seeing some of that. We're hearing about some action over in Hawaii Kai, maybe at Magic Island. And the action may be different here because we're on the south shore and we're seeing Hilo. It's more on the northeast shore. So it may be impacting different parts of the island differently, or it may be even bouncing off some of the neighbor islands and affecting us in a way that's not affecting some of the other islands. So we just got to be watching on all shores. No one is safe and no one should go near the water at this point.
And from your experience, you said you were a child during the 1960 Hilo tsunami, and you said it sounded like a freight train.
Right, it was like a freight train coming through. It was just amazing. Of course, it was 1:30 at night. You couldn't see anything, but the noise was something else to behold. And so I think you just have to have respect for this. But we are seeing a tsunami in action. It may not be as large as some of us think, but we're witnessing something that does not occur very often. It reminds us about how awesome and powerful the earth can be, and we need to just be very respectful of that. You know, there's that one guy in Waikiki we're showing on all the channels out there walking on the reef. That guy was crazy, and we're glad that he has now come in. But the public has really stepped forward here, Grace. I mean, we're standing here on King Street on a Saturday, outside of the inundation zone, and there's hardly any cars. It's quiet, it's peaceful, it's beautiful. It just tells you that the public is really taking this seriously. They've really helped the first responders by staying at home, by respecting what we've requested. And we've never seen this before. Usually there's a lot more chaos, a lot more last minute running around. And we really want to thank the public for what they've done. And we want to thank the news media for getting the public aware so they were able to respond in a very orderly way.
Right, Kirk Caldwell, City Manager, thank you so much for joining us. And a good reminder from Kirk that, you know, we are right in the middle of this. Do not think that we are out of the danger zone just yet. And watching what is going on downstairs in the Emergency Operations Center, you know, they can see the water coming out of Hilo, and they can also see, you know, whether or not there are people in the area. So keeping a very close eye on the situation here. That's the latest from the Emergency Operations Center. I'm Grace Lee. Steve, Tanya, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Grace. We know that at least in Hawaii Kai, there are some people monitoring the situation over there. The Alawai Harbor as well seeing some effects, right?
That's right. Through the traffic watch camera, we're seeing what appeared to be a quickly rising water there. Also getting reports of brown water. So we do have an Alawai resident on the phone right now that we're going to check in with and find out exactly what you can see from your point. Good morning.
Hello.
Hi, sir. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hello.
Hey, hi, how are you doing, sir?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Marcus, what can you tell us? What can you see? Obviously, the water they were talking about it's getting very dark, very brown and murky.
Yeah, well,
the Alawai,
definitely the dirt is starting from under, and the direction of the water is completely different. It's actually going up and towards the ocean. So that's the only thing we can see.
How high up are you that you can see this and see some significant changes?
We're on the 32nd floor, and we're right on top of the Alawai. We're on the corner of Macaulay and Alawai. So we're right on that bridge.
Did this happen within the past couple of minutes, or has this been happening for quite some time?
Yeah, I would probably say within the next, kind of 10 minutes. And there's people, already, looking on the bridge.
And what are you doing at this point? You know, obviously you're monitoring the situation. You still have cell phone service. What else are you doing?
Definitely just staying in and making sure that, everything is working basically.
Marcus, obviously the big concern, everybody had to go out and make sure that they had enough supplies. I'm sure you were able to make sure that you stocked up on everything this morning.
Well, actually, we did it last night. When we went in, we came in at around 2:30, and ironically, the lady that was taking the parking ticket was watching the news, and we were like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And so we had to just head out and go to Walmart and stock up.
A lot of people did. Marcus, thank you for calling in and being our eyes and ears as we try and see the immediate effects of this. And thank you for joining us. We do want to turn things over to Dan Cook. He's been watching the